Hello, hey, I'm Dheeraj here. In this video, we are going to learn that how we can develop a functionality in JavaScript, related to about signing or sign-up forms, like we have in Insta or Facebook pages. Okay, whenever user enter their correct credential, then the user redirect to the home pages or their profiles, or whenever user enter the incorrect details, then the user automatically redirected to the login pages to enter their details again. Okay, so let's see here how it is working. Now I'm refreshing the page. So it is asking my username here. That my username is Dheeraj. Okay. Now let's see. Enter here. Now it is asking my password here. So see, I have entered the wrong credentials here. That's why it is saying me. Sorry, the credentials are incorrect because I have entered my incorrect details. So let me see again by refreshing the page. Now I will enter my correct details here. Okay, now my password. See, now it is saying Dheeraj Yadav, hey, welcome to your page, because I have entered the correct details here. So basically this is a basic functionality about sign in or sign up form, that how it is working here. So whenever I enter my correct details, so it is redirecting my this word, and whenever I enter incorrect details, so it will redirect to my another words. So basically, this is not an advanced functionality about Facebook like, but it is a small approach regarding the sign-in functionality. Okay, so let me see here. So I already write down the code here, guys, that how it is working. Let's see. First of all, I have declared two variables. The first one database, and the second one is a user feed. So in database variable, we have an array. In an array, we have an object. So in object, we have declared two properties. The first one username and the second one is password. So well guys, for you, if you wanted to add a number of users, or like Facebook have millions of users, so the whole users comes in this database. Okay, now currently I'm making this functionality only for one user, so that's why I have entered only one user credentials, username and password. Okay, so now after entering the correct credential, the user will redirect to the home page. Will show this text, that's hey, welcome to your page. So this data is stored under this variable user feed. Okay, username Dheeraj Yadav, timeline, hey, welcome to your page. Okay, so basically this is nothing but this variable stands for what? The data that will show on the home page after entering correct credentials. Okay, so after now you can see here that I am refreshing the page. A pop-up window is coming here. But how is it coming here? What's the functionality is behind to call this pop-up window here? So basically in JavaScript we have a function here, that is prompt function, that work as a pop-up window here, that collect data from the user and give it back to the function. Okay, so basically I have for that passed two variables. The first one username and the second one user pass. So whenever user put values in prompt function, the values will be stored in these variables, username and password. Okay, now I enter the values here. So these two values are entered now in username and user password. Okay, now let me see how is it stored here. Now let me call the username variable. See, I am calling the username variable. The data is coming here that I entered in the pop-up window. Now let me call the second variable again, user password. See, user password data is coming here that I entered in the pop-up window. So now he is here. This is working fine. So now after that we have a function here that define the basic skeleton of the functionality here. So basically in function we have two parameters here. The first one username and the second one user password. Okay, so basically in function I have declared if else statement. In if else I have condition that if username is equal to database index 0 object username. Okay, and similarly I have also checked the password here also, that user should also enter the correct password here. Basically we have a three equality signs here to check the equality of both sides in JavaScript. Okay, and here we have an AND operator. It will require this and this also, both as two statements. Okay, Now both conditions will be true, then after it will consider this statement. Okay, if one of them is not true, then it will not consider this statement. So for this, these two must be true. Okay, so now we have pass the condition of username and user password. Whatever the details is passing from the user as an input should be equal to the our database. Okay, so how we can call the properties from the object? I think you may be familiar with the JavaScript, but I'm thinking that you are familiar with JavaScript. That's why I'm not defining the much depth level. But don't worry, I am describing the property here also. That I have a variable database. So we have taken the variable database. In database variable, we have an array of index value 0. Okay, this is an array of index value 0. In index value 0, we have an object. First property username dot username. Okay, so we get the Dheeraj Yadav. Similarly, we have user password, same functionality. Database variable index value should be 0 because we have an array that index value is 0 of password. Okay, so now it is so now my condition is fulfilled here. If the condition fulfilled here, then it will pass this statement. Okay. Whether if the condition is not fulfilled there, then it will call this statement here that sorry, the credentials are incorrect. Okay, so after that we have called a function sign in, that we have this function, so we have to call it also. So in sign function we have two arguments, username and user password, and from where we are getting these arguments value. These argument values are coming from these two variables, username and user passwords. Okay, this is coming from this, and this is giving two values, this function username and user password. So basically in JavaScript we have parameters and arguments. So basically argument give the values to the parameters. So argument is taking value from variables here, and arguments giving value to the parameters. In parameters we have in if statements we have variables here, like, and we are fulfilling our conditions here. Also basically this is a basic functionality about sign in or sign up form that we can write down here, and you can also modify this functionality to much complex level, and you can add too much database and like 10 users, 20 users, so more. Okay, so let's see the functionality again here. So it is working nice here. So for today, that's enough. Let's finish this. Okay, so if you have any query regarding this functionality, you can ask me in comment section, and goodbye, have a nice day.